How you doing? I'm Big D. Welcome to my show. What we're going to be talking about is what is going on in the world. Mostly, we're going to focus on what's going on in America and how it affects silver and gold. Those are the two things that I'm always focused on. Back in 2022, the billionaire Ray Dalio posted a 43-minute long prediction, which is the impending downfall of every major economy as we know it is based on predictable cycles that repeat throughout history without fail. Sure enough, looking back, a lot of what he predicted wound up coming true. Inflation surged, asset prices exploded, precious metals hit all-time highs, global tension escalates, all signals that a new world order isn't coming. It's already happening. Except now, there's a bit of a twist. As of a few days ago, Ray Dalio just posted that the world order has officially broken down, meaning we are about to enter the last and final debt cycle. The part where consequences become irreversible, and most people have no idea what comes next. That's what we need to talk about today. Exactly what he predicts is about to happen. Why these cycles are completely predictable, if you know what to look for and how you could best prepare going forward. Because like it or not, financial shifts don't hurt the people who know what's coming. They hurt the people who assume that nothing changes. Just like they say, oh, it's a new president, same old thing. Nothing's going to change. Well, we know that's incorrect. Every time Trump steps in, he helps the country. He helps the world. He's back again, a year in, just a little over a year in, and we're seeing huge changes. Now, before we start, if you appreciate videos like this, and I am filming literally regularly now, every day or so, I'm trying to get on here because this is that important for you to be prepared. I care about you and your money. I have nothing to sell you. There's no reason for me to ask you other than to help build my show. And I do appreciate it. Subscribe, hit the like button. And if you like what you see and you think this could help somebody else out, share it out, please. I know it's dumb for me to ask, but I'm asking. And as a thank you for doing that. Now, in terms of where to start and how this is likely going to end, it's important to understand the 6 economic cycles. According to Ray Dalio, there's a predictable pattern that all economies consistently go through, and it's not random. He believes it's only a matter of time until eventually this all plays out. And it begins with, first, a new world order beginning. This usually becomes after a major crisis or a conflict resets the entire system. Think post-World War II when the US dollar became the world reserve currency and global cooperation increased. This all leads to the next step, the growth phase. Essentially, opportunities rise, wealth is created quickly, and optimism is high. The result in third, weak prosperity and power. At this point, the country's currency becomes the global reserve. Financial markets lead the world. Military budget increases and living standards are high. Exactly what you see today. But beneath the surface, debt begins to rise. The wealth gap widens. All of a sudden, financial speculation outpaces financial productivity. And as you would expect, this leads to fourth, financial imbalances. Pretty soon, debt grows faster than income, which we're seeing at this present time for America. Asset bubbles form. Inequality intensifies. Political polarization increases. On top of that, trust in institutions decline substantially. People begin to feel like the system is rigged against them instead of working with them or for them. That means the only outcome is fifth, conflict and disorder. This means that social unrest becomes a lot more common. At the same time, rival powers challenge the dominant nation, which is the United States. Trade pressures escalate, money printing increases, currency face competition. For context, this is the point where that Ray Dalio last warned us back in 2022. And now he urges that we are entering the sixth and final phase before the economy reset. And you know what happens with the reset? Silver, gold, commodities usually rise. Now, six, the new world order. Ultimately, this happens when the stress of debt, money printing, inequality, political unrest gets to a point that can no longer be sustained. When this occurs, governments are forced to restructure debt. Currencies might be devalued to reduce the burden. Wealth distribution policies often emerge, and global balance of power can begin to shift. Now, sometimes this transition can be managed through policy or reform, but either way, the old system stops functioning the way it once did, and a new system takes its place. Then the cycle repeats itself once again from step one. However, if we zoom out and take a look at exactly what that's happening today, the reality is that not all of these happen at the same time. And in terms of what Ray Dalio says is most likely going to happen next, we have to take a look at the 5 types of global conflict. See what way he sees it. When the balance of global power begins to shift, countries don't jump straight into war. Instead, they begin to escalate in several other areas that most people don't even realize. And the first line of defense is often trade and economic war. This is when countries try to weaken each other through tariffs, export restrictions, supply chain pressure. So instead of direct face-to-face conflicts, they make it more expensive to do business, restrict key goods, and attempt to damage other countries' economy from the outside in. So also leads us to the second, which is technology war. The truth is, whoever controls AI, semiconductors, energy technology has a huge advantage, which is why the US is now blocking China's access to advanced chips. China pushes ahead with their own programs. Like even today, those export bans expanded even further, making it a full-on zero game for innovation dominance. That's also leading to 4. We have capital wars. This one is basically just financial warfare. Countries use sanctions, freeze assets, cut off banking to hopefully restrict the other side's ability to do business. This is seen in the 2022 when Russia had their reserves frozen, and Dalio specifically flagged this, noting that governments had historically used asset freezes and embargoes well before any fighting actually takes place. And fourth, on top of that, we could also see geopolitical wars. These are battles over influence, alliances, important locations around the world. Look at what Trump wants to get his hands on. Other countries. Venezuela, check. Greenland, check. Canada, is that next? Canada has a lot of critical minerals that the United States needs. So instead of direct combat, countries compete through partnerships, defense agreements, and diplomacy to gain control over certain regions or major trade routes. Kind of like what happens throughout Greenland recently. And finally, number 5, we have the last resort, and that would be military wars. Historically, by the time tension reaches this stage, the economic, political, technological conflicts have been going on for quite some time. And at that point, both countries face an impossible choice: fight or risk enormous cost, or back down and appeal weak. Now, I will say Ray Dalio's his point isn't that all of this necessarily leads to war, but it is to say that when the global power begins to shift, competition between countries begins to increase. And if you zoom out, you could see that this has been going on for quite some time before most people recognize what is going on. So in terms of what to expect and what he says will inevitably come next, and the blueprint that you would be able to use to come out ahead, here's what you came for. Because of the history is a guide, and if it is a guide, by the time it feels obvious, it's already too late. Although really quick, while we're on the topic, here's what I've noticed. When the market looks uncertain, people lose jobs, volatility spikes, everything reprices to a new normal. That's why I place such a big emphasis lately on diversification. So instead of just being all in stocks or real estate or cash, I'm able to get a bit of everything. And that's actually where I think we're at right now. Now, this is really interesting because instead of earning people's respect, I think we're at that point where everybody's a little scared of the United States. I do believe this. But if you get multiple countries against us, that's where could be a real challenge in all aspects that we just laid out for you. So we have to talk a little bit about crypto as well. Now you have gold, silver, Bitcoin, XRP, brand new Solana. Personally, I prefer Bitcoin back on my purchases. Some people use it for their own personal use, purchasing power. But we have to think the changes in silver, gold, commodities, they're going to be they're going to be going up if most of this happens. I think even if some of this happens, we're going to see the changes in commodities in general And let's hope for the best for the United States and us. Try to have a great rest of your day. God bless America.